Number 3 from your Political Science book of grade 11, and this chapter 3 is from your section B. And the name of the chapter is Unipolar World, US Unilateralism. Today we are going to complete this chapter in this video, and you don't have to study all the case studies in details. Okay, as per the reduced syllabus, we are having the summary only. So, US unilateralism case study of Operation Desert Storm 1991 in Iraq. The projected cause of the Persian Gulf War of 1991 was illegal Iraqi annexation and of oil-rich Kuwait from 25th August 1990 to 28th February 1991. On 28 August 1990, Iraq had proclaimed that Kuwait was henceforth an Iraqi province. It was a clear case of Iraqi armed aggression against Kuwait and its subsequent annexation as an Iraqi territory. It was indeed an illegal act on the part of Iraq on Kuwait. So Iraq had violated the sovereignty of Kuwait, and the entire world had criticized and condemned it. It involved Iraqi attempts to make good and heavy losses that it had suffered during the 10-year long war with Iran. It was seen by the USA as an Iraqi attempt to dominate the oil-rich Gulf region, which controlled 40% of the world's oil resources. It was perceived as a major threat to global interest. In this reign, Iraq's occupation, and or you can say Iraq's occupation of Kuwait had possessed big meanings for the US friend, Saudi Arabia. In fact, Iraqi occupation of Kuwait was regarded by the USA as a direct challenge to its power, role, and position in this important and sensitive region of the world. During the Iran-Iraq War in 1980 and 1988, the USA had looked away, partly because Iraq remained involved in a war against the US Army. But now, in 1990, the US came out to condemn Iraq and banned this ruler, Saddam Hussein, and as the butcher of Baghdad. It decided to build an anti-Iraq coalition of NATO members and some other friendly states like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and some small Gulf states. The US decided to attack Iraq for securing the liberty, or you can say liberation of Kuwait. In all, 34 states joined this war against Iraq. The US contributed 80% of manpower and military machines, but at the same time made its coalition partners to bear the bulk of financial cost. In order to give a legal foundation to its objective of decimating Saddam Hussein and a region, or so you can say Saddam Hussein's rule in Iraq, and in ending its annexation of Kuwait, the US was successful in securing several UN Security Council resolutions and for putting heavy economic and diplomatic sanctions and pressures on Saddam Hussein for compelling him to end this aggression and annexation of Kuwait. At the same time, the US President George Bush put into motion his Operation Desert Shield by dispatching massive military force to the Gulf region for preparing for an impending war against Iraq. In this environment, the US president got passed a resolution from the UN Security Council which sanctioned the use of all necessary means against Iraq in case it failed to withdraw from Kuwait by 15 January 1991. This resolution was regarded as an UN mandate for our action against Iraq for the USA as an instrument for transforming its Operation Desert Shield into a war against Iraq Operation Desert Storm. On 16 January 1991, the US led multi state coalition and launched this war against Iraq in the form of massive airstrikes against Iraq. These were designed to punish Iraq for its aggression against Kuwait as well as for weakening the power and ability of Iraqi President Saddam Hussein to offer resistance to the US led coalition force, which was really to invade Iraq for securing the freedom of Kuwait. So, this was the entire scenario of Operation Desert Storm. Next, we are having this part, that is US Unilateralism case study of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. A series of 4 terrorist attacks. 9/11, that is 11 September 2001. Terrorist attacks took place at 4 different places in the USA. And the investigations brought out the fact that these were the handiwork of Al Qaeda terrorists who had acted under the command of Al Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, who was living in an operation and operating from Afghanistan. Naturally, the USA decided to hunt out and punish the Al Qaeda head and the members of Al Qaeda. But consequently, the US President George W. Bush got the rulers of Afghanistan and gave the rulers of Afghanistan, the Islamic fundamentalist Taliban's, an ultimatum to hand over the terrorists responsible for 9/11 attack or to share in their fate. The Taliban asked Osama to leave Afghanistan, but at the same time declined the extradite and hand over to USA without evidence of his involvement in the 9/11 attack. In fact, the Taliban were not willing to hand over their ally, the Al Qaeda elements led by Osama bin Laden, to the USA. The USA decided to launch airstrikes against Afghanistan and then began doing so on 7th October 2001, less than a month after 9/11. Thereafter, a ground attack against the Taliban rule and Al Qaeda elements operating from Afghanistan was launched by USA and its allies, particularly the UK, France, Spain, Germany, Italy, Canada, Poland, and Australia. Okay, Pakistan was compelled and purchased to support US military operations in Afghanistan. The goals of the military attack were to remove the Taliban from the power, to find Osama bin Laden and his you can say members at the and to destroy his Al Qaeda. Without a very short within a very short period, the USA led forces were successful in driving out the Taliban from power. However, the Taliban and Al Qaeda leaders fled away to the mountainous borders of Afghanistan and Pakistan. And after some time, the Taliban regrouped themselves and got involved in insurgents against the interim administration of the Afghanistan and US led forces in the US led forces got involved into the fighting of Taliban insurgents and Al Qaeda terrorist elements and establishment. The hunt for Osama bin Laden was then intensified. Later on, it was found that Osama was living in Pakistan and that too in military stations of Pakistan. So in 2001, the UN Security Council established an International Security Assistance Force ISAF to oversee security of Afghanistan and to train Afghanistan and security forces for making it capable to undertake the risk of safeguard to secure their own country. So, US led military operations against insurgents of Al Qaeda terrorists were vigorously launched under the Operation and Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. Soon, this operation got extended beyond the Afghanistan borders to the northwest Waziristan, an area of Pakistan. In 2004, Pakistani army also got involved in clashes with the local tribals hosting Al Qaeda and Taliban militants. The US military started doing drone attacks for killing Al Qaeda and Taliban commanders. As on 2nd May 2011, US Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and thus secured the top goal of US war in Afghanistan. Thank you. Sorry, one more part is left. I forgot that. Let us start that part. So, the India's relation with US after 1991. India-USA relation have been a long, friendly, and cooperative one. And so, in contemporary or in the modern times, they have been developing very rapidly, more particularly after 1991, that is, after the end of the Cold War and the disintegration of USSR and the socialist bloc. Quantum jump in the bilateral relations became the beginning of 21st century when the US President Bill Clinton visited India in 2000 and signed a vision and statement with Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. In this, both the countries expressed their determinations to develop further their you can say friendship and cooperations in all areas of the relationship. Therefore, India and USA started and also started also developing their cooperations in the area of defense and strategy relations. And the sanctions that the US had imposed on India after the nuclear test is conducted by it in May 1998. It began getting gradually removed. A new environment of positive extensive cooperation and contacts came into existence. The defense force of the two countries began holding joint military exercises. India began purchasing in advanced planes and other defense equipments from the USA. Both started developing their strategic relations and partnership. A game changing major development came in October 2008 when Indo US Civil Nuclear Energy Cooperation an agreement was finally made. This agreement gave further strength to the Indo US relations and their bilateral cooperation and began developing in a big way. The process continues even today. So we can say that the relation between US and UK is USA and India is really cooperative, and they are having all round a good relation. Thank you.